I have the opportunity of running the day-to-day for Louisville Statistics, Louis Stat. We modeled it after Baltimore City Stat and other stat programs across the nation. We use data for Lean, Six Sigma, project management, the strategic planning process, innovation projects, anything that you can name, we have to have data. We need data to form a starting point. I call that a baseline. So if we want to increase the number of people over 25 with a bachelor's degree, we have to get reasonably sound data that actually gives us where we were in any given year. And then we need to take action, which actually allows us to collect data throughout the process, and then that helps us answer questions about, are we really making progress towards achieving STEP goals? One of the first problems that we tried to take on was figuring out how ambulances can actually clear the hospital more quickly. And we need to understand, because we're not the only stakeholder involved with dropping patients off at the hospital, we need to understand who was doing what and how well. We used a structured problem-solving process. We collected data from our dispatching technology, which timestamps, when we arrive and when we leave, but we didn't have data about the steps, what happens in between. Was it the triage nurse? Was it our staff doing the documentation, the paperwork, et cetera? We basically, before we started the project, did not clear the hospital about 85% of the time within 30 minutes. After we finished the project, we were about a 15% success rate for the project. So that's one awesome story. We're working with the White House on a 21st century policing initiative where we're using data to figure out what can we do to detect early warning and really fundamentally build trust between the community and our police department and the rest of city government. We were one of the first to put out uniform citation data for arrests. And now Socrata is actually using our data, ingesting that into one of their solutions and comparing that to other jurisdictions, because we really need to be transparent about the work that we do, particularly when it comes to policing within our communities. I think data can go a long way towards clarifying the actual relationship and what happens on the ground. We operate by perception, and perception becomes reality. But then data, and the interpretation of data is an interesting kind of discussion, but data can help you ground the discussion in objectivity. So it's discussion by fact, more or less, rather than just by opinion. And I think that if any leader, stakeholder within the community wants to understand what's really happening, we should open up our treasure troves of data and share that with them so we can use that for the purpose of proactive and positive problem-solving experiences. I think the dashboard for the open performance side of the Socrata suite of solutions has incredible potential. And that is, we need to create near real time. It's not going to be real time because there's a process for crunching the data and integrating it from where it resides to where we need to visualize it. But Socrata will allow us to get near real-time data which answers key business questions. It's very hard for cities to really answer those questions today without tremendous effort and picking up the phone and sending an email to the super users and analysts which reside within, if we have them, our departments. But if we've defined what's important, what we want to know, Socrata can help us harvest, leverage, transform, and then visually really understand how well we are without relying on people to do that.